Good evening, and welcome to the lucky 13th annual Virgin Atlantic Attitude Awards powered by Jaguar. Oh yes, this is our community's biggest night of the year, a night so big we filled the Roundhouse with 700 LGBTQ plus people and glorious straight allies. A night so big, it resonates globally. Last year, more than 500 million people saw Attitude Awards content, and only some of them were watching a red-faced Nigel Farage shouting about Dylan Mulvaney on GB News, and that makes me happy. Tonight's dress code is camp and glamorous, and just look at you. More clothes than someone else has paid for than in Keir Starmer's wardrobe. Oh, come on. The man has a gay sugar daddy that buys him nice things. This community is founded on those values. My husband-to-be, Tom, didn't get where he is today. Bless him. Seriously, though, as a country, we've a financial back hole to pay for, apparently, and nothing says you're serious about the public purse like taking free clothes and Ibiza gig tickets and denying medication and counsel to young trans people. I know I got to the T word early this year. No apologies for that. I said a year ago that anyone imagining an incoming Labour government to be a better friend to our community than the outgoing Conservative one simply wasn't paying attention. For every Kemi Badenoch, there was a Rosie Duffield. For every Gillian Keegan, a Wes Streeting. And that is how it's panned out. Puberty blockers that are safe for some are now banned for those questioning gender. Yet another example of a hostile environment created, maintained and amplified by those in power. The trans community has been consistently excluded by both governments from any conversation about the trans community and suffers one indignity after another. It's a desperate situation with no short-term respite. But despite other LGBTQ media outlets saying, and I quote, that things that relate to trans and non-binary remain incredibly contentious and that there is significant brand and partner nervousness around the topic, our experience is the opposite. Those who support Attitude are grateful for counsel, consistency and common sense, and our collective voice will see us on the right side of history. Our partners tonight at Virgin Atlantic and Jaguar aren't nervous. They've been alongside us now for 13 and 9 years respectively. And while this year marks the last of Virgin Atlantic's current sponsorship contract for the Attitude Awards, I am delighted to say a brand new 3-year partnership is in place from 2025. They're less partners perhaps and more soulmates. The same applies to our Jaguar colleagues. The sharp-eyed of you may have noticed our VIP cars tonight have come from the Jaguar Classic Collection rather than fresh new metal. It's because Jaguar brand transformation is coming, and someone better placed than I will explain all of that later. But please know that Jaguar's partnership budget this year, before new Jaguar next year, ring-fenced the Attitude Awards. It's an unequivocal stand for diversity and inclusion. As is, I'm delighted to say, our enhanced partnership with our friends at Marks & Spencer. Not just a cocktail reception upstairs, but an M&S cocktail reception. Not just wines on the table this evening, but award-winning M&S wines. And not just cocktails for the Jaguar after party on the balcony after our awards show, but M&S after party cocktails. Where would we be without M&S as part of our chosen family? Which brings me neatly to my last story. I've lived in a rural community for 25 years, for periods as the only gay in the village. For the last 10 years with my partner, Tom. But it only truly felt like home when we walked into the local pub, the Rock Inn, and met Emma Welch. Emma, the landlady and matriarch, was the kind of woman gay men aspire to have in their lives. She was ballsy, she was funny, she was a former champion cowgirl. We delighted in befriending her, her husband Jim, and their two boys, Tennyson and Sterling. And as surely as she welcomed us into her world, we invited Emma and Jim to the Attitude Awards and showed her ours. And she dressed for the occasion. Scarlet hair, matching tweed, toe-to-toe with RuPaul's drag queens who dared suggest she might be one of them. "This is my hair and my tits," she said fiercely. Last year, she sat away there to my left, just 2 weeks after having a brain tumour removed, and incredibly, that night won 2 Virgin Atlantic upper-class tickets to Sao Paulo. The following day, however, delivered the prognosis that none of us wanted but all had feared. The operation had brought a time, but sadly no cure, and Emma slipped away just before Easter. We'd been left very strict instructions as to what was to happen subsequently. We were to get up and get on and take care of her boys. And as I would later say to 350 people jammed into the local church, they say it takes a village to raise a child, and so the Attitude Village delivered. In July, our friends at Virgin Atlantic swapped Emma's Sao Paulo tickets for Florida flights for a boys' trip. And our wonderful friends at Universal Studios and Disney helped us make some all-new memories. If you ask nicely, my partner Tom will do his Chewbacca impression for you later, and it is magnificent. The gay uncles went as well, sometimes a force for good and sometimes less so. I think don't quite have parenting down just yet. But I'm proud to say, so that they can see what Mum got quite so excited about, Tennyson, who is 10 tomorrow, and 13-year-old Sterling, tonight became the youngest ever Attitude Awards guests, and they are joining us tonight. Very smart they look too. This, boys, is me at work, and yes, I am very cool. So, I'm left with an overriding feeling looking back at this past summer and indeed this past year and what is now 30 years of Attitude. And I think it's best summed up by tonight's headline performer, who will be on stage around 11 p.m. The long-standing LGBTQ ally for our community that is the legendary Kathy Sledge is in the house tonight. Kathy will be closing out the awards show with a 6-song set of Sister Sledge's greatest hits. Oh yes, Go Big or Go Home. The last of which echoes a golden thread that runs through everything Attitude stands for, that runs through every person in this room tonight, be they LGBTQ+ or a straight ally, and through each of the 13 award winners you will see honoured. This, you see, is the Virgin Atlantic Attitude Awards, powered by Jaguar, and we are family.